Welcome back to Stop My Crisis. I'm your host, Vivian Gaspar. Preparing to send your child to college is an expensive proposition. We are so fortunate to have with us here our guest, Michael Rappa. He is a highly sought after for his magical abilities to legally beat the high cost of college. He specifically is trained and skilled in reducing the financial impact of college for families of all income levels, even if they don't qualify for financial aid. Please welcome the president of Ivy League College Planning Strategies, the author of How to Give Your Child a 4-Year College Education Without Going Broke, and the college funding magician himself, Mr. Michael Rappa. Michael, tell us, what exactly is financial aid?
Well, most families can't afford to pay the full cost of 4 years of college without receiving financial aid. The cost of college education for them would nearly be impossible, just like the word that I have printed on this scarf right here, the word impossible. Financial aid, however, is money to help students and their families pay for college. It's designed to bridge the gap between what the college or what the family can afford and what the college actually costs. Now, there are several types of financial aid out there. There are scholarships, there's work study, there's student loans. Now, don't be surprised because all colleges include student loans as part of financial aid, but these are all different ways that families can help meet that out-of-pocket college cost, and without financial aid, where the impossible may be impossible, financial aid can make it possible.
That's impressive, Michael. Very, very nice. So what are some of the biggest concerns you'll find parents facing in regard to the college funding process?
While in meeting with new families, these concerns come up over and over and over again. The first concern that we hear is there's deadlines for everything and the fear of missing a deadline. There's application deadlines, there's financial aid deadlines, standardized test deadlines. Everything throughout this college funding process has a deadline. And if the family misses one of those deadlines, there's a very good chance that they're going to lose out on perhaps tens of thousands of dollars, or even worse, perhaps their student isn't going to get into the college of their dreams.
So when should a parent start looking at this preparation process? Should it be 8th grade, 9th grade? When do they do that?
Remember about 17 years ago when we got the test results? That was probably the best time to start.
Those test results, not SAT
That's
test
right,
results.
not the standardized test, but those test results.
You mean the little positive or negative test results?
Exactly, yes. That's the best time to start planning. But unfortunately, because procrastination, most families don't. So the sooner you get on top of this whole process, the better off you're going to be.
Michael, how do schools determine if a family is eligible for financial aid?
Well, not everyone qualifies for financial aid. You have to apply for it.
Do you know if it's apply for the colleges first and then for financial aid, or financial aid first to see what you might qualify for and then the colleges?
Well, there's a certain process. First thing you would want to do is apply to the colleges. But before you apply to the colleges, I would encourage the families to do their homework to get a real good idea of what their net cost is going to be, their out-of-pocket college costs at a college, because they may not even want to apply to a particular college. But what happens is the parents or the student fills out the application, and then it's not until after the student gets accepted to the school where where the school is going to put together that financial aid award offer. Because think of it this way, in California, where we're based out of, UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles, this past year they got 120,000 applications. 120,000 applications, and
wow.
There's only spots for about 4,000 or 5,000 students, right? So colleges are not going to put together a financial aid award package for 120,000 students. They're going to put together the financial aid award package for only the students who get admitted. So that's when the college sends out the financial aid award letters, and as I previously mentioned, unfortunately, that's often the first time parents have any idea of what it's going to cost. So how do schools determine if you're financial aid need eligible? Well, it's based on a needs analysis formula. Now, this is a secret financial aid formula that the financial aid officers at the colleges don't want you to know. The formula is based on 3 factors. The first is COA, or cost of attendance. That's the acronym for cost of attendance. Now, what number comes to mind when you think of the cost of attendance?
I don't know, 40, 50, 60,000 a year?
A year, okay. See, there can be a lot of confusion just around the cost of attendance. So what I want you to know is that cost of attendance is going to be all in. So that includes room and board, books, transportation, could be in the meal plan, transportation to and back from the school. So that's going to be all in for 1 year. So that's a nut that the family has to crack, so to speak. So now that would be the sticker price. However, I would encourage you not to rule out any school just based on the sticker price alone. So the first factor is the cost of attendance. Now, from the cost of attendance, you want to subtract out the EFC, the expected family contribution. Students, they have their GPA, their grade point average. Parents, you have your EFC, which stands for expected family confusion. No, not really.
Confusion or contribution?
Actually, expected family contribution, right? This is the number that you need to know because this number is a number that the colleges will use to determine whether or not, or actually the EFC is the dollar amount that the colleges and the government believe that you can afford to pay to send your kid to college.
How do they determine that?
It's based on a formula. It's parents' income, parents' assets, students' income, students' assets, the age of the parents, the number of students that the parent has in college, and several other variables as well. So the EFC, expected family contribution. So you have your cost of attendance minus the EFC. That gives you your financial aid need.
Wow,
And need,
nice magic.
yes, need is the amount of money that you qualify for. Now, if the cost of attendance is more than your expected family contribution, you have a demonstrated financial aid need. However, if your expected family contribution is higher than the cost of attendance, then you would not qualify for any need-based financial aid. However, there's other buckets available that that particular family would want to search out after.
How about based on your child's grades?
Grades, well, when it comes to grades, typically it has nothing to do when we're talking about need-based financial aid. It's based on that formula, cost of attendance minus CFC equals a need. So if your student can get into a college somewhere, they can get financial aid, need-based financial aid. Now, merit scholarships, that's a whole different...
Oh, merit is what's
merit
based upon
is based
good
on the
grades.
student, good grades, right. Yes.
You write about the 3 pillars in the college process. What are those 3 pillars?
Well, the first pillar is getting into the right college. It's important for the students not to find a good college, but the right college for them. And it's based on several criteria: academic, social, spiritual. Things are going to be important to the college to make it a good fit for them. The college search begins with the college list, building a college list and deciding which colleges to apply to. It seems, however, that students pick colleges today for, shall I say, more interesting ways. I'll never forget, I had a student one time who, I was looking at the college list, and I asked about a particular college that she had on her list, and I said, well, why is that college on your list? And she said, because their colors are red and white. I look good in red. Right, so that's why she had that on the list.
That is the most
and of
interesting
course,
reason to
I
pick a
know.
child
And
college.
then mascot's very important, right? So some students look at the school that has a really good mascot. But anyway, students are really looking at colleges in interesting ways. So let me demonstrate, if I may, a way that students go about the college selection process. So what I have here are several colleges. Actually, I use the Ivy League schools here. We have Columbia, we have Cornell, we have Harvard, Princeton, and Penn. Right? Now, colleges, or I should say students, are applying to more colleges than ever before. If they have more than 10 colleges on their list, I would say they didn't do a really good job researching the colleges. So it's through a process of elimination where the students refine their college picks, right? So, for example, this college on top here, I'm not going to look at it. I'm going to apply to it, so I'm going to keep it. So it's going to be, yes, I'm going to apply. No to this school, so I'm going to discard it. Yes, I'll apply. No. Yes. No. Yes. No, yes, no, yes. So this is going to be the school that I'm going to apply to and accept admission to. Look at that, Princeton right here.
Right. So,
how about that, Princeton? Now, let me have you try.
okay.
Okay, so you're going to go through, you're going to do just what I did here. So what you're going to do is take the cards and without looking at the cards, keep them face down.
Yes.
The first card you're going to apply to. So you're going to keep it. So yes, you put it on the bottom.
On the bottom.
Put it on the bottom right here.
On the bottom, yes.
And that card, or that card right there, which is a no selection, you put it over here and just discard it. So no, that one's yes, you're going to keep it. No, not going to apply to that school. You're going to keep it.
Nope,
No.
not this one.
Yes.
Keep that one. No. So which one of the two?
Yes. Right?
Yes.
Keep it. No. And let's see what you got.
College bill?
That's right. It looks like you got the college tuition bill.
College tuition bill.
That's right.
Is it a very high bill?
That's right. The absolute worst thing that you can happen is let your kid apply to just any college they want to and sit back and wait what happens, because that college tuition bill, that's going to come. So don't apply to any colleges. You want to make sure that you at least have a few colleges on that college apply to list that is going to be financial aid doable for the family.
Let's say you have a child who didn't have the best grades in high school to go to college. Do they give up? If you're a parent of a C student, do you just give up on college?
No,
altogether?
no. If the student can get into, well, how can I
Not
answer?
Ivy League, right?
Not Ivy League school. It really depends, and it gets down to, is a student applying to those colleges that are going to be a good match for them? Obviously, a student with a lower grade point average, they're not applying to the more elite colleges that are out there. They're applying to colleges where their B, their 3.0, for example, is a good grade point average at that particular school, or their standardized test scores is a good score at a particular school.
So is that where it comes in of how important it is to taking into consideration how your child stacks up to other applicants?
Absolutely. You want to ensure that your student is applying to those colleges where they're going to be in the top of the incoming freshman class. So now we have the ACT, which is standardized test, right? 26 on the ACT, 36 being the highest or perfect score, right, on the ACT. If a student scores a 26 on the ACT, would that be a good score or a bad score?
Depends on where you want to apply, right?
Exactly. Depends on where you're applying, right? So that 26 could be in the top of the incoming freshman class at a particular school, but at another school, it could be in the bottom of the incoming freshman class. So this is when it takes some time to do your homework to see where is your student going to be falling into the incoming freshman class. All things being equal, the higher the standardized test scores, the higher the grade point average, the more likely the student is going to receive a preferred package. And what I mean by that is more free money from the college, both need-based and merit-based.
Is part of your services to help a parent understand, to help your child be the big fish in a small pond, or small fish in a big pond is not really a good idea if you want more free monies, grants, and scholarships?
Well, one of our major goals is to help students find the best fit school for them. But more importantly, to set up the parents in a situation where, regardless of where their student gets accepted, they have a funding plan put in place or a game plan put in place to pay for the out-of-pocket college costs and not set them up for disappointment.
Well, when you say the best school for them, how many colleges roughly are there in this country?
Oh, there's over 4,000 colleges.
4,000 colleges in 50 states.
Yes.
You're just not going to send them to Hawaii because it's nice weather, right?
No. Or they have a certain school color, as we were talking about earlier, right?
I think that's incredible. This is really insightful because sometimes I think parents think the best option is to give up and tell them to go just work at McDonald's, but that doesn't always have to be the case. So let's learn more and take a little bit of a break, and we'll find out more of Michael's secrets.
Roughly half of Americans are concerned about their financial well-being. Nearly a third of Americans have less than $10,000 in savings. Last year, 77% of taxpayers believe they benefited from using a professional tax preparer. Are you worried about your financial situation? It only takes one snowflake to cause an avalanche. Don't let taxes sneak up on you this season. Kendall Ludden, CPA, tax preparer and refund strategist.
Welcome back to Stop My Crisis. I'm here with the magician for college funding financing. This is Michael Rappa, and he's going to share with us some additional knowledge on understanding, do all colleges provide the same levels of financial aid?
Well, Vivian, it would be a mistake to think that all colleges are created equal when it comes to providing financial aid, because they're not. Unlike these three Equal length ropes. All colleges are not created equal when it comes to providing financial aid. Don't be tricked into thinking that each college is going to give you all the same amount of money, because they're not. Some colleges provide very little help, leaving the students short and without enough money to attend. Other colleges might meet 50% or 60% of the students' financial aid need, while other colleges, like the more expensive sticker price Ivy League schools, promise to meet 100% of the students' demonstrated financial aid need. It's very important to know each school's history of awarding money before you ever apply, because it may cost less to send your student to a more expensive private school than to a cheaper priced public school.
That would be counterintuitive, what most people would think.
Absolutely.
Michael, should students rely on winning a private scholarship to pay for college?
Well, thinking you need to rely on a private scholarship is another mistake to avoid. You don't need to find a billionaire to help pay for your kid to go to college. Private scholarships make up only about 5% of all the financial aid available to help you send your kid to college. Most financial aid is going to come from the state the student lives in, the federal government, and the colleges themselves. Hundreds, if not billions, of financial aid is out there to help low-income and middle-income families pay for their kids to go to college. The trick is knowing which colleges have it and where to find it.
That is a very crucial trick to learn. And I always thought that it's more frugal to send your kid to an in-college or in-state college than out-of-state, because there's always what I thought is an upcharge if you're coming from another state. So does that mean you need to look to your home state to get more funding than the state that the college is located in?
Well, it depends. If you're looking at a public school, there may be a difference in sticker price between in-state and out-of-state. But when you look at private colleges, you're going to pay the same in-state or out-of-state. Some colleges also offer what I call the good neighbor rate. If you live in a neighboring state, you may be eligible for a tuition discount at a particular school.
And a college degree is downright expensive. Does it matter where families save, where they save to pay for those upcoming college expenses? Because what did we say? When you start saving for college should have been when you got that little yes or no test results, when you found out if you're even having a baby.
Yeah, that's a great question, because it certainly does. For example, money saved in the kid's name is going to be assessed at a much higher rate than any money saved in the parent's name. And if families keep saving in the wrong college piggy bank, it can make a big difference in getting very little financial aid or perhaps nothing at all.
That is a critical importance to know. So do they have specific plans that a parent should take advantage of saving in instead of putting it just in your child's name, like saving up from their Sweet 16 or bat mitzvah or wherever they're going to get the money from?
There are. So the key takeaway there is it does make a big difference of how you save for that out-of-pocket college cost, because if you save in the wrong way, it could cost you and you may end up paying more.
And so you shouldn't just put it into a regular savings account. If someone asks you, you'll tell them there's some more intelligent places to invest that money for over several years.
We'll leave it at that. Yes, more intelligent places to be saving for the out-of-pocket college costs, absolutely.
Because everyone who saves in any way, shape, or form might have to just answer to Uncle Sam.
True. Yeah. It is important to save, but you just want to make sure that you're saving in a way that's not going to hurt you. And unfortunately, many families don't find out about it until it's too late. Earlier I mentioned that we typically work with families who are in late stage college planning, already have one in high school. At that point, it's kind of too late to make changes. I shouldn't say that. It's not too late. It could be too late.
But you can still guide people even if they're in later stages. It's just telling them some different answers than if someone was coming to you when they perhaps are still, the child's still in middle school, for example.
Yes, the strategies are going to be different.
So the earlier prepare, the more options you might have.
True, yes.
Well, we have so much more information coming up because Michael is still going to have a lot to share with us. So stay with us and come learn some more.
You work hard and pour your passion into your career. By maximizing your tax refunds, you can give your family more. More stability. and more amazing family experiences. More of the life you always wanted to provide for them.
Welcome back to Stop My Crisis, and we're here to magically learn how to pay for four-year college with Michael Rappa. Michael, there's one magical thing families can do if they want to get free money for college this fall. What is it?
What is it? Well, millions of students are missing out on billions of dollars of free money for college because they don't file the free application for federal student aid, better known as the FAFSA. Sadly, according to the most recent data, about 2 million students didn't fill out the FAFSA but would have qualified for federal Pell Grants totaling as much as $9.5 billion and an additional $3 billion in state and institutional grants. All students interested in financial aid must file the FAFSA. This is the federal form that every single student that offers, every single school that offers any type of federal funding is going to require you to fill out. Remember the magical formula generated by the FAFSA produces the expected family contribution number, the amount of money that once subtracted from the college cost will establish eligibility for federal and in most cases state student aid. Well, don't miss out on the FAFSA. Remember to file the FAFSA each and every year beginning October 1st when it opens, because that is how you can get free money for college.
Wow! That's amazing!
And that's how to pay for college using magic.
That is magical. I'm highly impressed that you can do that. Yeah, you get all that money just by filling out the form on time.
On time is very important to fill
And
it
I've
out on
had to
time.
do that, and
that's
guess
one of
what?
the deadlines you have to make sure you don't miss.
I did it for my daughter, and it wasn't hard or painful at all.
No? Good.
It wasn't bad. It was great.
Well, there are common mistakes that many families make.
Is this
when
missing that
completing-
deadline?
Well, not only missing the deadlines, but including assets on the financial aid forms that should not be included.
What type of assets are those paid?
For example, home equity is a particular, often included on the FAFSA form that shouldn't be included, or money that parents have saved in retirement plans. Those would be assets that you do not want to include, or investments that you don't want to include on the financial aid forms. So those would be the two biggest mistakes we see over and over and over again, including the amount of equity that you have in the home and also including retirement assets. However, I should clarify that there is more than one financial aid form. Often colleges, in addition to using the FAFSA, they'll ask for the CSS financial aid profile application. That is completely different. That's an application where they will ask about home equity, they'll ask about retirement plans, they'll ask about siblings' assets, they'll ask about any unusual medical expenses. So more of your more elite colleges, not all of your private colleges, but many of your private colleges will use that form in addition to the FAFSA.
So would you
which is
say
a federal form.
Sibling assets? I've got to ask. I mean, let's say you have a 17-year-old getting ready to go to college, and they have a sibling 10 years older than them with the house and assets. You're trying to tell me that sibling 10 years
these would
older
be
is going to
for
be
younger students in the family.
Well, what if they were a child actor and have millions of dollars? They're expected to pay their college tuition?
Yeah, they'd be probably safe to say a full pay when it comes to applying to the colleges, meaning that their expected family contribution is higher than the cost of attendance at the school.
And even though they expect their sibling to help pay for it?
Well, they'll include, they being the Department of Education, the colleges, will include siblings' assets as a contribution to the family in coming up with that magical number, that EFC, expected family contribution number.
I never realized there was, that you had to include their siblings. I mean,
Siblings on the profile application, completely different.
And I didn't know there was two applications. So much
Yeah,
to
there's
learn.
many, and some colleges have their own financial aid application in addition to the FAFSA and the profile, which are the two main financial aid forms that parents fill out.
It's amazing that the government has so much money available to help. It's a wonder why people don't all go to college when they think it's unavailable to them, but it really might be.
Yeah, and there's different buckets of money. The FAFSA is a federal form. That's when they're looking at the Pell Grant, state grants, for example, schools grants. But the profile, now we're looking at the college's own institutional aid to help provide assistance to families that have a demonstrated financial aid need.
So do you really have any strong takeaway points to make sure everyone should realize, well, first of all, they should definitely reach out to you. This is so complex. I don't know how average parents know about all this.
Sure. Well, here are a few tips that I'll leave you with here. And this is how you can pay for college by using your head. All right.
I use my head.
Using your head, right. So now that you know a few of the piggy bank busting mistakes to avoid, here's how you can use your head to send your kid to college without going broke. The first is H for havens. Find safe havens or places to save money for college costs that is going to count against you in the financial aid formulas. E, expect to qualify. If you need money, expect to qualify, because that's who financial aid is designed to help, people who need it. So be sure to fill out all those financial aid applications on all the forms and fill them out on time and fill them out properly. And then we have A, apply. Apply to expensive schools. Yeah, the more expensive schools. The more expensive schools, the more likely you are to have a demonstrated financial aid need. So remember, sticker price means nothing. And finally, D, deadlines. Take all financial aid deadlines seriously. Don't miss them, make them. If you want to receive financial aid, you've got to meet all the financial aid deadlines. So there are a few piggy bank busting mistakes that families must avoid, and how you can send your kid to college.
Wow.
Using your head.
That's impressive. Nice job.
Yeah.
And I got to ask, you said more expensive colleges. I can't believe that you're saying that it might still be available to go to an Ivy League like Harvard. I mean, I heard they have an amazingly large endowment fund. Is that really what they're applying, leading to?
Yeah, again, remember, sticker price means nothing. It may actually be more affordable to send your kid to a more expensive sticker price school than it is to a public school.
Because I always heard that small local state schools could be cheaper, but you're saying if they have bigger endowments or ways to help your children, that could definitely make the difference.
Absolutely.
Incredible. And this was an amazing show. Thank you so much for making
Vivian.
it over here, because this can really, literally stop the crisis and really help your child have such a better life without making the assumption that they can't afford college. They can most likely afford it, especially if you reach out to an expert like Michael and find out exactly how to do that. Thank you for watching this episode of Stop My Crisis.